You've often heard me talk about how necessary it is for you to develop and love a sense of self. Um, find out what you want and who you are. That's crucial if you want to have a fruitful life. It has been optional for some, and they haven't been able to get what they want out of life because they don't know themselves well enough to set up boundaries or make goals. They just don't know themselves well enough. Constantly distracted, constantly occupied, and you just don't know what direction you're going into. And that's why there's a lot of breakdown in relationships and communication because the people involved don't even know who they are by themselves, let alone get involved in some type of relationship. But anyway, I want to tell you one of the reasons why it's important that you know yourself. And this is for people who are constantly trying to satisfy those one or two people that's close to them. It's like no matter what you do, this person is not satisfied. And if they are, it's like they're giving you an accomplishment list. There are some families in this world, they're all about accomplishments. That's all they care about. When they get together, they talk about what they accomplished, what they accomplished, what they accomplished. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with accomplishments. There's a reason to feel proud. But the thing is, these are the type of people that are kind of just so focused on accomplishments, they can't loosen up. They can't just loosen up and have fun and enjoy some music and dance and be free. These are not carefree people by any stretch of the imagination. Whenever they have a gathering, it's more like a funeral because it's just no joy. There's no upbeat energy. Everything's about what you've got and what you've accomplished and what you've got and what you've accomplished. And there's just no freedom at all. And you've got a bunch of people that are there trying to talk about their accomplishments to a bunch of people that don't have a vested interest in what they're doing. And if you listen to my audio before, this is something that I had to learn as a grown person because it wasn't told to me. I was told how to accomplish things, but I wasn't told the responsibilities associated with it, the sacrifices that you would have to pay, and how to protect your blessings once you have received them due to your accomplishments. I wasn't told those details. And I'm not down on the people who trained me trained me because they probably didn't know. You can't get mad at the people who taught you for not telling you something because they probably didn't know. Just accept it for what it is and keep it moving from this point on. Don't dwell on it. But the thing is that you have a lot of people that are around that are doing this, talking about how they're going to do this and how they've accomplished this and accomplished that. And that's great and that's wonderful and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you use that as the whole focus of your existence and the whole focus of your conversation, it could be off-putting to people who simply just want to have a good time. Some people don't want to talk about that stuff because it's in relation to a high-stress job. It's in relation to maybe a negative relationship. Maybe they just want to let their hair down. Maybe they just want to go to that cookout and just have a good time. Listen to some good music. Shoot the breeze with some people. Have a drink or two. That's all they want to do. They don't want to have a big calendar, a big chronological list about, oh, I accomplished this at work. Maybe that person doesn't want to think about work that day. I accomplished this in school. Maybe this person's on break and doesn't want to think about school. Oh, I accomplished this in my business. Maybe the other people don't want to talk about business. Have you ever thought of that? Maybe these people just want to turn around and they just want to have a good time and not think about it and just be human and just enjoy the fresh air if it's nice outside. Oh, how pretty the grass is. Talk about how nice they keep their garden. Play with the dog. Run through the sprinklers. Just be carefree. And there are some people in this world don't know how to do that. And if you're the type of person that you just want to please people, first of all, if you're in that mode where you want to please everybody, you're going to wear yourself out and you have not done that selfish thing yet. You haven't spent that time on self. Because if you spent that time on self, you wouldn't spend all of your day trying to please other people. You really wouldn't. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't please other people, so don't get it twisted. I'm just saying don't do it to the point where that's become a part of your internal works. I mean, it's like, okay, you become a junkie. you become a pleasing junkie. It's like, oh, you wake up first thing in the morning. The first thing you got to think about is how you, I got to do so-and-so so-and-so will be proud of me. I got to do so-and-so because so-and-so will like me better. I got to do so-and-so so we could develop a closer relationship. I got to do so-and-so so somebody can say how great I am. That's all part of a low self-esteem. So you have some people in this world that have those one or two people around them, no matter what you say or do, it's not going to be good enough. Case in point, let me break it down. Let's say you're in a family and you have that one person. You know how they are. They're the type of people that have something critical to say about every single person in a low-key way of trying to lift themselves up and make themselves be better than everybody else. They talk about all the negative in everybody else's life so they can make themselves look better. That's another form of low self-esteem. You'll have that one person that you love them, but you want them to be proud of you. Okay, you grew up and you finish high school. Okay, well, when you get to college, You go to college, you get your bachelor's, you get your master's, you get your PhD, you do residency, all this stuff. You finally finish your education. Okay, maybe they'll be proud of me. No, they come to you again. Oh, well, once you get a job over at John Hopkins, And so silly you sitting up here just following this train. So you go ahead and you get that. Oh, okay, well, then the next thing you need to do is get married. Okay, you turn around and you get married, whether you're ready or not, because of that pressure. You were brainwashed with this pressure to please. So you turn around and you do that, not sure if you want to or not, and you get somebody that meets the requirements and fits the mold and is the perfect picture and everything else, and you turn around and you have children and you live a life and you got the money coming in, you got the perfect husband, you got the perfect wife, you got the perfect. But deep down inside of you, it doesn't seem like it's enough. So what you then do is you wind up joining a church or a mosque or a temple, and then you go try to get this so-called insatiable demon cast out of you. Oh, I don't understand. You got all this and you got all that and you got all this and you got all that. And what do you mean you're not satisfied? That ain't nothing but the devil. Okay. Now, see, this is where it gets a little tricky because I know some of you are saying right now, well, it is a demon. Okay. All right. It's a form of a demon. I'll go with you on that. But the thing is when you start turning around saying something's of the devil or demon, what you're doing is you're taking accountability out of the hands of the person who's going through it and casting it on a supernatural force. So in other words, all they got to do is sit there and do nothing and just wait for some wind to come and take it out of them instead of them proactively doing something about it. So be careful with that. So this person goes through life doing every single little thing. All of a sudden they look up, kids getting ready to go to college and everything else. They leave home 15, 20, 25 years later, and they look up and realize that this is not the life I wanted. They look at their husband or wife and they be like, I didn't want this. It's like for some reason they might see something somewhere that triggered these emotions that they've had built down deep inside of them for years. And then they wind up doing something. They wind up having a mental breakdown and just doing something that is just totally off kilter and wind up ruining their whole family. They waited too long to find out who they were. They never took the time to find out who they were. See, they were going through all these so-called rituals that are supposed to be going through life, so busy trying to accomplish this and accomplish that and accomplish this and accomplish that to please other people who are never satisfied, by the way, because by the time you accomplish one thing, all you got to do is get this. Oh, yes, that's wonderful, but now all you got to do is get this. And then when you get that, then they'll come to you and say, oh, that's nice and that's wonderful, but now you got to get this. It's like they got this laundry list of things to do for your life. Your life. And they don't even have a vested interest in what you're doing. They ain't putting into it. And you allow it because you want them to be a part of your life and you feel if that's all you've got to do, that's all you got to do. But look, you're the one jumping through all the hoops, though. You are the one jumping through all the hoops. You are the one that has to deal with the stress at the end of the day. You're the one that's overworked and underappreciated and exhausted mentally. You are the one. They're not. See, they're doing that because all they want is something to talk about to one up their friends on. They don't care about the sacrifices that you have to make to do those things. And deep down, they really don't know you. They don't care about how you feel at all. They just care about what you can accomplish so they can go tell someone else within their circle about how much better they are than somebody else. I know this is going around, and I know this seems a little bit deep, and it may seem a little bit far-fetched, but this shit is happening every single day, people. You just don't understand. Every single day. Everybody's got that one person. That one person. And that's what happens. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to tell you. That's one of the reasons why you should take time to learn who you are. It took me years to figure out who I was. And when I look back at some of the things that I did as far as my schooling and career choices, it had a lot to do with the way I was programmed. And I was programmed to accomplish, but I wasn't programmed about self-love. I was taught very well on how to accomplish things. No problem. But I wasn't taught about self-love because the people who were supposed to teach me didn't have any self-love. See, there was a time where people of color, they had to accomplish certain things in order to live. And it became less of a priority to worry about how someone feels about a situation than it was to accomplish something. And there was a time in history accomplishing something was the only way that we could survive as a race, but we don't live in that world anymore. But some people still have that mentality, and they feel the only way that you're going to be a whole person of color is to accomplish this, that, and the other. Nothing wrong with accomplishing things, as I stated before, but we were not taught that sometimes people have to do it at a different pace, because if you don't have the mindset to handle what you're undertaking, you're either going to fail at it or you're going to wind up having a breakdown behind it because you were not mentally equipped at that time to handle it. Some people, for most part, you're told, okay, go to school, go to college so you can make a decent wage. Okay, there's a small percentage of people that can't go straight to college as soon as they get out of school because they struggled through 13 years of school, and they may have to get out into the world a little bit and see how it works and then go back to school. And when they do go back to school, they have a better appreciation for it because of what they've seen in the world. Now, I know this flies in the face. A lot of parents are going to say, now you're telling my child that they shouldn't go to college. Nope, I'm not saying that at all. So please don't assume that I'm saying that. I'm just saying there's a small group of people who do not have the mindset when they graduate high school to go to college. And they may or may not succeed when they go in directly from high school. That's all I'm saying. Because based on what they're exposed to, they probably do not have the skills or the discipline to be able to go to college. Because going to college, that means you are going off somewhere. Your first time leaving home, going off somewhere to live in a different environment, which means you're going to be responsible for getting yourself to bed at night. You're going to be responsible for getting up on time in the morning. You're going to be responsible to be able to make it to the cafe to get something to eat so you can have breakfast because you don't have a stove and a refrigerator in your dorm room. You can't have both of those things in your dorm room. So it's not like when you were living at home where mom would come in and turn the light on or the alarm or whatever and tell you it's time to go to school every day and come pick you up from school or take you to soccer practice or take you shopping to go buy dresses and things like that. You don't have that when you go to college. All those things are your responsibility. So when sweetheart dances and things like that occur, it's going to be your responsibility to take yourself to go get your outfits with your money. It's going to be your responsibility to make sure you get to classes on time. And if you don't make it to class or if you're late, and you wind up, you're not going to get a note to send home to your parents saying that you were late. It's not like where you were in high school where you skipped too many classes, you were absent too much, and you don't get that in college. professors ain't going to say nothing to you because they figure you're a young woman, you're a young man, you're responsible. You have more responsibilities for yourself. And there are some people that once they graduate high school, they are not mentally prepared to be able to handle those things. And I know they sound very simple, but I have run into it. The first time I went to school, I told you I went to Hampton University. A lot of affluent families have children and nieces and nephews who went to that school. So the money is not even an issue. And a lot of them will wind up the first semester of school after midterms going home because they can't cope with the fact that they have to get themselves up in the morning and that they have to feed themselves and that they're responsible for just doing basic things like shopping for their own linens and toiletries and taking care of and putting gas in their own tank of their car or getting their own transportation. A lot of them have never had to do it. Never had any, or they had somebody on their case about it that encouraged them to do it. They never had to do it on their own volition. So when it came to their grades into classes, they didn't make it a priority to make it to class on time. Because in some college classes, if you're late, they consider that an absence. It just depends on what professor you're dealing with. Not getting their homework on time, and then coming at the end of the semester asking for the professor to give them a break. No, it's in their minds, it's too much responsibility to have to do those things on their own. So they wind up dropping out and going home. Now, what happens to them when they get home, I don't know. Sometimes that happens right after midterms. Sometimes it just happens at the end of the semester, go home for winter break, and then they don't come back. I've seen it happen. In my adult life, when I went back to school, I seen it happen with a lot of students. I'll see them in December through finals. They go home. When we come back in January, they're nowhere to be found. They can't handle the responsibility. They were not mentally equipped to handle the change. So some people do need to go out into the world and see that how responsibility works because they don't know. But these are the people that are trying to accomplish something. They want to accomplish without knowing who they are or what they want to do. And then they wind up in their field many, many years later, had a family and everything else. And then they wake up one morning and look around and realize that's not the life that they want. So what do? Some of them disappear. Some of them just divorce out of the blue. Some of them turn to addiction. Some of them have severe mental problems and don't know why. They didn't have a chance to figure out who they were because they were living in somebody else's dream. So that's why I say that's why I always preach self-love, people. This is another reason why I preach self-love. Because if you don't preach self-love and set those emotional boundaries, you're going to find yourself jumping through hoops in somebody else's circle, and you're going to be doing it for years, and then right before you know it, when you do wake up and that light bulb goes off, it's going to be tragic. Learn who you are as a person, learn to love who you are as a person, and set boundaries in your relationships and stick to them. And you'll be all right. Have a great day.